Namaste बिटिया सदा खुश रहो दिस इज JVN डॉक्टर सुमन शेखावत डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ काय चिकित्सा फैकल्टी ऑफ आयुर्वेदिक साइंसेज ज्योति विद्यापीठ वुमेन्स यूनिवर्सिटी जयपुर Today we will discuss on gastrointestinal tract examination GIT examination. First of all we should First of all, we should know that before doing GIT examination, we have to know about the history of the patient. Then we will discuss in this session that how we will take the history of uh, GIT associated illness in patient. First of all, we should take history of patient. We should ask with the patient that he or she is suffering from anorexia, nausea, vomiting, dysphagia, flatulence, eructation, retrosternal burning, water brush, diarrhea, constipation, clay stool, worm in stool, mucus and blood in stool, abdominal pain, lump and distension, hematemesis, melena, bleeding per rectum, jaundice, gynecomastia, loss of libido, loss of hair, reversal of normal sleep cycle. We have to ask if the patient that his sleep cycle is normal or abnormal. Fever, weight loss, alcohol, smoking, and past history of tuberculosis, malaria, kala jar, leukemia, hemolytic anemia, sudden failure dyspnea, and drugs. General examination of the patient. Before doing systemic examination, we should do general examination of the patient. We should we have to see in general examination that vital signs are normal or not, that temperature, pulse, and respiratory rate, and we should observe the blood pressure of the patient, build and nutrition, BMI, body mass index, pallor, clubbing, nail, cyanosis and sclerus, edema fluid, lymphadenopathy, JVP, signs of liver cell failure, scanty hair, palmar erythema, spider navy, carotid swelling, gynecomastia, Dupuytren's contracture, etc. Stigma of tuberculosis like scars and sinuses in neck, lymphadenopathy, flicular conjunctivitis, thickened squamatic cord, stage signs. Skin excoriation, ecchymosis or potachy, cutaneous marker of GI malignancy. Miscellaneous bony tenderness, genitals. Alimentary system examination that we should see in the patient. Oral cavity. Oral cavity we should see teeth are normal or abnormal. Tongue is normal in normal color या अ, जो डिस्कलरेशन है वो टंग में कहीं प्रेजेंट तो नहीं है, टंग ब्लू है, रेड है, पेल है, ब्लू टंग साइनोसिस को रेड टंग निकोटिनिक पॉइजनिंग, पेल अनीमिया एंड ब्लैक टंग आयरन सप्लीमेंट आयरन सप्लीमेंट इनटेक को बताती है. Now we will have to see the abdominal examination. We should see inspection. We should do at the patient inspection, skin, shape of abdomen, umbilicus, abdominal movement, palpation, dilated vein, peristalsis, scar and sinuses, hernial or we should see in the inspection of the patient: shape of abdomen, shape of skin of the abdomen, umbilicus, abdominal movement, pulsation, dilated veins, scars and sinuses, peristalsis, umbilical hernia. We should see all these things, they are normal or not. Next, we should see palpation of the abdomen. We should see in palpation tenderness, abdominal guarding, rigidity, superficial palpation. And we should palpate liver, spleen, kidney, gallbladder, colon, and any other lump if present. Next, we should see percussion of the patient. We will see in the percussion horseshoe and shifting dullness, dullness over any lump is if palpable, venal angle tenderness, that is angle between 1/12 rib and outer border. Next, auscultation. We should see in auscultation peristalsis, rub, arterial bruit, or venous hum, puddle sign, miscellaneous abdominal girth, PR examination, proctoscopy. In the inspection, we should see in the patient. First of all, in inspection, the abdomen can be divided into 9 regions by drawing two horizontal and two vertical lines are drawn by joining mid-clavicular point to the mid-inguinal point, and the upper horizontal line is drawn at the lowermost bony point of the rib cage, usually ninth or 10th costal margins. Subcostal plane correspond to the body of L3 vertebra. The lower horizontal line is drawn at the upper border of the tubercle of the iliac crest. Transtubercular plane correspond to the upper border of L5 vertebra. The 9 quadrants are shown. Shape of abdomen. The shape of the abdomen in most normal persons with normal musculature is scaphoid or boat shaped. That is, the abdominal wall sinks slightly within the bony margin of the abdominal surface. In every muscular person, the lateral margin of the rectus muscle is visible to the center. Usually, the middle age of the both the recti are contiguous. However, the many be separated as a congenital defect. After pregnancy or with obesity and ascites, this is called divarication of recti, distinction of fluid, feces, platter, fetus, fluid urinary bladder, and fetal new growth. They can be differentiated as follows: fat, pendulous abdomen with symmetrical, globular, enlarged, and attenuated cutaneous folds. Fluid, fluid fill, shifting, and horseshoe dullness. Third is platter, generalized tympani, more at the periphery. Feces, generalized distension, occurs more in the flanks. Fecal masses may be felt. Fetus, central dullness, tympani in the flanks, history of amenorrhea, and fetal part may be palpable. Full bladder, tender, rounded, cystic mass may be palpable above symphysis pubis, which may disappear after micturition. Fetal new growth. Abdominal dullness overlying the growth. In ovarian growth, the distance between the umbilicus and symphysis pubis is greater than between the xiphis sternum and umbilicus. Generalized distension occurs in ascites, obesity, and patients with excessive flatus. Localized distension occurs with individual visceromegaly and with neoplasm. Example: hepatomegaly produce abdominal distension in the right hypochondrial region, whereas full bladder produce marked distension of the hypogastria. Scaphoid or shrunken abdomen is seen with starvation and malignancy, especially of stomach and esophagus. Umbilicus: normal umbilicus is usually inverted and situated centrally in the xiphisternum, and the umbilicus is equal to the distance between the umbilicus and pubic symphysis. In ascites, the distance between xiphisternum to umbilicus is greater than between umbilicus to symphysis pubis, whereas in ovarian tumor the distance between xiphisternum and umbilicus is less than that between umbilicus and symphysis pubis. In ascites, the umbilicus is transversely stretched, smiling, and flattened or everted, whereas in obesity, the umbilical cleft is deeper than normal. Everted umbilicus may occur with herniation of bowel or fat into the widened umbilical ring. Sometimes umbilicus may exude fluid, that is, ascitic fluid in massive ascites or succulent material in antifistula, or clear fluid in patent crying, crying umbilicus. A faint blue discoloration around the umbilicus Cullen signs in one or both flanks, or gray Turner signs may occur in acute hemorrhagic pancreatitis or ruptured ectopic pregnancy. Cherry red swelling of the umbilicus suggests inflamed mucus diverticulum. Abdominal movement: normally, the abdominal wall bulge during inspiration and fall during expiration. In diaphragmatic paralysis, the abdomen bulges during expiration. In peritonitis, the abdominal movements are absent. Pulsation. Pulsation normally pulsation are not visible over the abdomen. They may be visible in the following conditions: aortic pulsation, aortic aneurysm, transmitted pulsation, right ventricular pulsation, and congested liver. Dilated veins suggest venous obstruction. When dilated veins are present, their direction of the blood flow can be found by emptying a section of the vein and pressing each end of the emptying part with the finger. One finger is released and the filling of the vein is noted. Similarly, the other finger is released and filling of the vein is noted. Blood enters more spacious rapidly and fill the vein from the direction of the blood flow. In inferior vena cava obstruction, there will be dilated vein on the side with flow of blood from below upward. This occurs because the blood bypasses the inferior vena cava and travels from the lower limb to the cortex via the veins of the abdominal wall. These veins are an anastomotic channel between the superficial epigastric vein and circumflex iliac vein below, and the lateral thoracic vein above. The diverted blood from the long saphenous vein to the axillary vein. In portal vein obstruction, the engorged veins are centrally placed and may form a cluster around the umbilicus, caput medusa. The blood in these veins flow in the direction away from the umbilical. They represent opening of anastomosis between portal and systemic veins. Peristalsis. Peristalsis is best elicited by patiently observing the abdomen of the patient. If it is not visible, an attempt to visualize it should be made either by making the patient swallow fluid or by applying a sharp tap with the finger over the abdominal wall. Peristaltic wave of the stomach is seen pyloric stenosis. Hernial site. The hernial site in the groin should be seen for any swelling. If there is no swelling, the patient should be asked to stand up, turn his head on one side and cuff. If there is an impulse on cuffing, it suggests hernia. Skin over the abdomen. Smooth and glossy skin indicate abdominal distension, whereas wrinkled skin suggests old distension which has been relieved. Abdominal stria present the rupture of the subepidermal connective tissue as a result of recent past abdominal distension. Thank you. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you all are satisfied with this session. If you feel any kind of problem with this session, please mention it in comment box. I will resolve it soon. Thank you.